And let's start the recitation for 30 seconds per student. Graded tayo. 10 points for your delivery and confidence. So, naka-open camera facing the webcam. Okay? And then, you may give any information learned last midterms. Okay? Start tayo. Student number 41.
One thing I learned about this subject this midterm is about Republic Act 10066, and it is a law that aims to provide, preserve, and promote the nation's cultural heritage properties. And also, as a tourism student, it allows us to have a connection to the past and when it comes to the certain social values, custom, and tradition, and also for us to identify ourselves and have a deepened connection to our sense of unity. That's all.
Student number 1.
Sir,
Go.
tinig po ako?
Yes.
Okay, game. Okay, wait lang po sir, game na po. I learned that heritage tourism isn't always pretty, but it always has an important impact. As a tourism student rather, community empowerment is one of the most effective ways for tourism to protect cultural heritage and heritage sites. This occurs when tourists are educated about the local communities, history, and traditions. Heritage tourism can contribute to the building of character and enhance your life. It is a great way to find yourself. Thank you po.
Bongga. Okay. Student number 2, please. Student number 2.
Sir, start na po.
Yes.
Sir, one of the topics I've learned about is one of the important cultural properties in our country, the White House in Baguio. The Laperal White House in Baguio was built in the 1920s by Don Roberto and Doña Victorina Laperal, and during World War II, the Japanese soldiers took it and used it as a temporary camp. There, they murdered and tortured the Filipinos that are being suspected of being an American spy. And the other topic is the cultural property.
Okay. Time's up. Student number 3, please. Go.
Hello, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, as our group reported, the Republic Act 1066, Article 2, Section 3, definition of terms, the RA 1066 is an act providing for the protection and conservation of the national cultural heritage. So, as a tourism student, I think we should have a knowledge about the history of our heritage culture and about on how we can protect and conserve the historical heritage. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, student number 4.
Good morning, everyone. So for what I've learned this term, it is the cultural property means property in which religious or secular grounds is specifically designated by each state of being importance for archaeology, prehistory, history, literature, or science. Cultural property is a powerful tool in determining what is remembered or what is being forgotten. It gives us an irrefutable connection to the past, to certain social values, beliefs, customs, and traditions. It allows us to identify ourselves with others and deepen our sense of community,
Time's
of
up.
unity,
Thank you.
belonging, and national pride.
Student number 5,
That's all, sir.
please. Student number 5. Ala. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's skip. Student number 6.
So one of the most important things that I've learned is that cultural property are not just mountains, artifacts, monuments, or the like. Heritage tourism has taught me that cultural property can also be the simplest things that are celebrated in life, just like festivals and even a system of waterways, just like in the old land of Asia. Heritage tourism has taught me to give importance to the past because it has made us who we are today. Cultural property can be classified into two, tangible and intangible, or movable or immovable heritage.
Okay, thank you. Student number 7.
One thing I've learned about our past lesson is that culture is one way of exploring and being one with nature and its rich history. So, culture can be defined in many ways. It could be tangible, it could also be intangible. It is how people live from past to present generations, and it is basically everything we have inherited from our past. And as a tourism student, I believe it would be my sole duty to enhance my knowledge and enrich in this culture that we have to pass along to the future generations that is yet to come.
Thank you. Student number 8.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
So my learnings this midterm coming from the report of Group 4 and Group 5 will be the RA 166 that talks about the national cultural heritage, the protection and preservation of it with the help of cultural agencies, and also other different terminologies like antiques, history, heritage zones, and the cultural property wherein we are able to understand the products or plays of human creativity that are part in national cultural heritage like museums, monuments, and others.
Student number 9. Student number 9. Student number 9. 5.
Sir?
Yes, go.
Okay, sir. So good morning, everyone. So the learnings that I've learned this midterm is that the RA number 10066 or the Republic Act, the National Cultural Heritage of 2009, which this is an act that provides protection and conservation of our natural heritage and also strengthening the objectives of the NCA and the affiliated agencies. So the importance of cultural property is that this is our wealth and we should be proud of it.
Time's up. Student number 10. Student number
Good morning,
10.
sir. So I learned about this, sir.
Yes, go.
So I learned about the culture, education, heritage, and conservation because it gives importance and promotes the valuable history, culture, tradition, and heritage we have in the Philippines, and a sustainable development and continuous process for action by the locals to preserve our tradition and culture. That's all, sir.
Okay, student number 11. Student number 11. Student number 11. 5, 4, 3, 2, skip. Student number 12. Student number 12. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Student number 13. Student number 13.
Ito na po, sir.
Okay, go.
Wait. So what I've learned is that heritage tourism provides a whole new angle to traveling, and it makes an experience both fun and educational. And you can learn about yourself, your ancestors. You can learn ancestors and people of your race, and also religion, while also learning learning more about culture and backgrounds different than your own.
Okay, student number 14. Student number 14.
Good morning. I learned during the midterms lecture that archaeological area shall refer to any place, whether above or underground, underwater or at sea level, containing fossils, artifacts, and other cultural, geological, botanical, and zoological materials. While when it says archive, this refers to a public and private records in any format which have been selected for permanent preservation. And it says antique shall refer to a cultural property found locally which is 100 years in age, more or less, the production of which has ceased. Thank you.
Okay, student number 15.
One of the things that I inherited first is that theological has a positive and economic impact. It establishes and reinforces identity. It also helps preserve the cultural heritage with the culture as instrument and facilitates the harmony with among and understanding people. It supports culture and helps renew tourism. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Student number 16.
Cultural property means property. Cultural property means property in religious or secular grounds, specifically designated by each state as being of importance for archaeology, history, tourism.
Student number 17. 17.
Hello, sir. Good morning. What I learned in heritage tourism is importance of cultural property is cultural property is our wealth. It is to shape our identity, a tangible and intangible. Cultural property is a legacy or history and identity. Example of these are art or history, religious, manuscript, place, or worship. Also, I recall the hilot usually done by manghihilot or albularyo. Hilot is an age-old indigenous Filipino healing practice associated with elderly healers. It is used herbal medicine. They use herbal medicine to perform and massage your body to yun lang po. Thank you po.
Bigla yun lang. Oh. Anyway. Okay, student number 18. 18.
Good morning, sir. One of the things that I was able to learn during midterm is cultural property, which is defined to be physical items that carries cultural heritage in it. Some of the examples are monuments, art or history, tradition or festivals. It can also be buildings or houses. There are also cultural agencies that protect this cultural property. Some are National Archives of the Philippines and National Library of the Philippines. Thank you.
Student number 19. 19.
Sir?
Yes?
Yes po, sir. So, what I've learned po, sir, is not all laws is all about the human rights, but also there are laws that benefits everybody po. One of the example laws is the Republic Act 1006 po. This law is also known as National Cultural Heritage Act 2000. As a student, tourism student po, we should know how to protect, preserve, conserve, and promote the historical places in our country po. And thank you po, sir.
Thank you. Student number 20.
What I learned in heritage is that cultural agencies are the one who is responsible for exploring the cultural practices of a society, like cultural property, books, documents, culture, and the arts. I also learned that all cultural properties such as museums, libraries, and other places that have history must be preserved and conserved, whether it is small or big, tangible or intangible, and public or private heritage. That's all.
Winner. Okay, student number 21.
Good morning, sir. What I've learned in some of the cultural agencies in the Philippines, the National Museums of the Philippines and the National Historical Commission of the Philippines and the National Archives of the Philippines, and also the definition of the cultural property, that culture has an impact on how people live their social life, and also the Republic Act number 166, an act providing for the protection and conservation of the natural cultural heritage. And as a students, it is really important and for the others to study the heritage tourism, to know some of historical shrines, historical monuments, and the historical landmarks, and also the history of the Philippines. Thank you, sir.
Wow, very historical, huh? Okay, student number 22.
Good morning, sir. The
Good
cultural
morning.
property caught my attention very well. Maybe because I love appreciating culture and art. So our cultural properties and also we can see throughout our country, especially those famous heritage and historic sites. We have museums, old houses, churches, and our national products and traditions, which define us as a proud Filipinos who take care and preserve these assets and share to the whole world that having these wonderful properties makes us who we are. And now on the modern era, we need to patronize and give more value to our properties. That's all.
Assalamualaikum. Number 23. Number 23. Student number 23.
Ay, sorry sir. Sorry
Oh.
sir,
Okay.
I've learned that the Republic Act of No. 1006, this law is aimed to protect and preserve, conserve, and promote the nation's cultural heritage. As a Filipino citizen, Filipino cultural heritage, it gives us a irrefutable connection to the past, to certain the social life, values, and customs, and tradition that allows us to identify ourselves with other, giving our sense of unity, belonging, and national pride of a Filipino. Thank you, sir.
Assalamualaikum pala. Ikaw pala siya. Kaba.
Maraming salam.
Yan. 23, 24. 24. Student number 24. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Student number 25.
Hi, sir. What I have learned in the midterm lecture is all about cultural property. These are the tangible and intangible property like monuments, churches, works of arts, traditions, and etc. This cultural property symbolize who we are in our country, and also the most important is the Republic Act 10066 for the protection and conservation of cultural heritage. As a student, I need to have a knowledge about our past because it's also connected at the present time. That's all I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Student number 26. Student number 26.
What I've learned for this midterm is the importance of cultural property in both local and foreign, because we know that without culture, there is no society. That's the reason why we need to protect and save our cultural property, because that is something that we can be proud of, the symbol of our identity from the inherited traditions, monuments, objects, and culture, and so on. Thank you po.
Ito score mo. Pass. Okay. Student number 27. Student number 27.
Good morning.
Okay, go. Good morning.
Heritage is often perceived as the protection and save of past. In fact, heritage is important to us because it is the fundamental to learn history and evidence of the past human activity of the city. As a student, we must have enough knowledge to know how to protect our own heritage and some of the national cultural treasures such as Bolinao Skull and the White House in Baguio. That is why it is important to preserve the Filipino cultural property because it gives us a purpose and meaning of our lifestyle then and now. Thank you.
Bongga. Okay, student number 28. 28. Student number 28. And 5, 4, 3, 2, skip. Student number 29. Student number 29.
Hi sir, I learned that the Republic Act 1006, it provides protection and conservation of our natural cultural heritage, strengthening the National Commission for Culture and Art, or what we call NCAA. I also learned the difference between tangible and intangible cultural property. The tangible refers first to historical, archaeological, anthropological with exceptional or traditional production, while the intangible refers to the people and processes along with the knowledge, skills, creativity that inform and are developed by them.
Thank you. Student number 30. Student number 30.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Go.
I learned that cultural property is not just a simple place to visit, but it is a place to open our mind to learn something new about our history. For them also, of course, that we can share it with other people, with other nationalities, for them to know more about our identity. And by that, we can show our love and we honor our country's legacy. That's all, sir. Thank you very much.
Nadala naman ako sa delivery. Anyway, student number 31. Talagang meron pa siyang action. Okay, student number 31. 31 in 5, 4, 3, 2. Student number 32. Student number 32.
Okay na po, sir?
Yes.
Undoubtedly, there's a lot of terms that were discussed during the previous presentation, but to my way of thinking, one term that will always be timely and relevant even up to these days is the word history. It is mentioned in the PowerPoint that history is the written record of past events, and I think it is important for us to know what the Philippines has to go through. It enlightens us and it makes us more knowledgeable. I think hindi tayo mapapaniwala agad sa mga nag-historical revisionism. Thank you.
Akala ko nasa pageantry ako, ganda. Nagulat ako sa information. Anyway, student number 33, thank you. 33.
So, yun po. Yes po, sir.
Go.
So, what I have learned during our midterm lessons is that Republic Act 10066 was created to provide protection and conservation for our national cultural heritage. And in addition to that, I have also learned that for a place or property to be considered as an antique, it should be 100 years old, more or less. And in addition to that, I have also realized how powerful culture can be, how it can affect someone's social life. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, student number 34. 34.
Good morning, everyone. I learned that in cultural property, it means property that is specifically designated by a state and is important for our history, literature, arts, or science. Second is that I learned that cultural property is a powerful tool in determining what is remembered, forgotten, and hidden that has significant connection to the past. And if I'm going to relate this as a tourism student in our industry, you should stand out and be remembered and feel as one of the important person in the industry, just like the cultural property which has a powerful significance in the past and present. That's all. Thank you po.
Thank you. Student number 35. Student number 35.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I'm here na po. So what I've learned in heritage tourism is that cultural property values and power its own character, which we have inherited. Also, culture has an impact on how individuals interact with one another. Third is Republic Act number 166, allow ensuring the preservation or protection of the nation's cultural heritage. Next is Bolinao skull is considered as one-of-a-kind treasure. Conservation refers to all the processes involved in preserving cultural properties. As a student, I will be proud that our heritage cultural property. Thank you, sir.
Inabutan ng time. Anyway, very nice delivery. Thank you. Student number 36. Student number 36.
Yes, sir.
Hi.
Okay, from our previous discussions, I discovered that having a law for heritage tourism really helps our country to protect, preserve, and promote the nation's cultural heritage, properties, histories, as well as the ethnicity of local communities. Moreover, as we have a lot of cultural properties in our country, we must recognize them as our wealth because they shape our identity. And in addition, we must also consider on visiting them like the National Museum because they have significance that will enlighten us and connect us to past events. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Student number 37. Student number
Hi, sir.
37.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. I've learned that cultural property is a proof and representation of our Filipino identity, culture, and history. No matter where we were raised and wherever we will go someday, culture is something that cannot be taken away. Our traditions and practices will always be with us. So, as a student, we should embrace and value our culture to shape our minds, improve quality of life, understand different perspectives, and most especially to become more aware of our own culture. Thank you.
Ay, thank you. Grabe. Sana napapanood ng mga subscribers natin, no? Ang gaganda ng ngiti nyo today. Nakakaganang mag-grade. Okay, student number 38. Student number 38.
Good morning, sir. What I learned in this semester in heritage tourism is heritage tourism is one of the most important subjects that we must take as a tourism student and understand the past and analyze how it is important to study. We all know that in the near future, we will share this knowledge that we have here in heritage tourism, like cultural property, shall refer to the products of human creativity by which a people or a nation reveal their identity, includes churches, mosques, and other places of religious worship, schools, and natural history. Thank you, sir.
Ayun. Nabutan tayo ng time anyway. Thank you. Student number 39. Student number 39.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. I've learned that each state defines cultural property necessary on religious or secular grounds. And also for RA 13266, the state aims to create a balanced environment where they surpass coexist in harmony with modern society and administers heritage resources in a stewardship spirit for the inspiration and benefit of present and future generations. Thank you.
Okay, student number 40. Student number 40.
Good morning, sir. So what I've learned in our previous topic that there's a great deal of cultural property here in our world. It's whether in local or foreign countries that is very valuable to us since it shows our wealth and also shape us our own identity. Thank you, sir.
Oh. Student number 42. Yes, go. Student number 42.
Hello, sir. What I've learned about heritage tourism, the National Cultural Heritage Act, officially designated as Republic Act 10066, is a Philippine law that created Philippine Registry of Cultural Property and took another step to preserve historic buildings that over 50 years old. It also aims to establish and strengthen cultural institutions and protect cultural workers and ensure professional development and well-being. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you. Student number 43. Student number 43.
Yes po, sir.
Yes.
So, sir, I have learned that every individual is a living history. The language, like the language we speak from our communities, the culture and tradition that we carry, these are all inherited from the past, from our history. And by understanding our cultural heritage can give us a better sense of our personal identity and promote a better cooperation in our community. And the best way to our cultural heritage is to share it with others. That's all. Thank you.
Ang ganda ng mga ngiti nyo, nakakainggit. Okay, thank you. Student number 44. Mana sa prof. Ano mag-smile? Okay, go.
In Republic Act, the Republic Act by the protection of arches. Cultural properties are the tangible items that are part of or old
we'll just have to skip that number because of technical tawag dito problem, but definitely nakita ko yung delivery, very nice. Yung information na lang siguro ipaparepeat natin siguro. And then student number 45. student number 45. And 5, 4, 3.
Hello, sir. Sorry, naka-remote na kung
Ayan, go.
Anyway, cultural history brings the past into the present. Learned about cultural property, the importance of archaeology, prehistory, history, also literature are being emphasized. Now, where generation pass to another generation, and the culture has an influence on how people live with their current social lives. Also have cultural agencies just like National Archives of the Philippines and the local government units, and of course there are a lot more. Thank you so much.
Okay, that concludes our midterm periodical recitation for heritage tourism. So, makita-kita tayo ulit sa mga susunod na recitations ulit. Di ba? With the Mall of Asia. Maraming salamat po sa pagpunta, pag-subscribe ng channel natin, and go.